Hello everyone, it's Mark Shalero, the owner of MS Classic Cars, and today I'm not coming back with another spectacular vehicle. I'm actually coming with a very spectacular watch. This is a 2012 early production, new, unworn Rolex Submariner Hulk. You've got to check it out. To start off this presentation here, I'd like to say this is a non-rehearsed video. There's going to be some information that I do forget, so please visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a full description with a ton of highly detailed photos. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note that I only collect number 1 and number 2 condition vehicles. We've been doing that since inception. So classic cars is our main business, but as a car collector, seller, enthusiast, etc. Over the years, we've had a lot of cool things at MS Classic Cars besides the vehicles that we sell. We've had motorcycles, we've had bicycles, we've had pedal cars, we've had anything that you can pretty much imagine, right to down the neon signs. This is the first time that we've ever presented a watch. And this is not just a normal watch, this is one of the best. So just like our cars, I really go after the best of what's available in everything that we sell. I am a huge Rolex enthusiast. I guess you could say a small collector. Maybe some people have noticed the Rolex sign. It's kind of a vintage sign that we have in the back of all of our photos in the showroom. I think a lot of car enthusiasts, whether you're a new car enthusiast or a classic car enthusiast, you appreciate Rolex and the history behind the great timepiece. I will say, on my journey of buying pre-owned or new unworn or whatever the case might be, Rolex watches, it has been quite an experience to say the least. Rolex dealers in general are sold out of inventory. They've been sold out of inventory for years. If you walk into a showroom, typically the cases are bare, especially the sport watches, which are the most popular. They have waiting lists. A lot of the times their waiting lists are so full, they basically don't even really want to put you on a list because you'll never see the watch. That's kind of an example of what happens. So these watches are extremely popular. What I've done for the Rolex Submariner is I've done a kind of a history of that watch and how that watch went from what it was to another watch that was nicknamed the Kermit, which is getting back into the early 2000s, which evolved into the Hulk. This particular watch here, and when I say the Hulk, that's the nickname that's been given to it. A lot of the sport watches have nicknames because of its green coloring and so forth. I'm a huge Hulk enthusiast as well. So this was actually produced from 2010 to 2020. So it was an 11-year production deal. And the earlier watches are the ones that are very hard to find. So I always want unique, as you can see with the vehicles that we sell, and I want rare. And I was not looking, when I was actually looking to purchase one of these watches, I was not looking for one that had been worn. So this is new, not new obviously from the Rolex dealer. Somebody bought it new from the dealer, they tucked it away. A lot of times people will wrap them, they'll put them in safes and so forth and never touch them. This is a 10-year-old watch. This is a 2012. This is an early watch. They actually have a different reference number. So as an example, the earlier ones had the 116610V, and then I believe it was 14, I have to check my notes, it went to the LV. This is actually the early version, which is just the V. Again, very, very hard to find. So hard that I would tell you if you went on the internet, which is where most people go to buy jewelry and watches and so forth, and it's not just in the US, it's a worldwide kind of deal. Watches are big everywhere. They're big overseas, the Asian market, Canadian, Australian, it doesn't really matter. Just like classic cars, this is a worldwide deal here. So you will find if you're searching for, say, a 2010, 11, 12, something that's from the beginning generation, especially just the V without the L, these are super, super hard to find in unworn new condition. I would probably tell you this could be the only one right now, again, that's new unworn from 2012. Maybe there's another example somewhere in the world. Maybe there's two, but you get my point. They are that rare. So whether you want to buy this watch to wear it, you want to display it, or you just want to do what the other person did and tuck it away and keep it as an investment piece, it makes the perfect collectible timepiece. So again, I just wanted to make sure that I kind of discussed all of that. So we, again, have a great description. Corey, who does all of our photography here, had a little fun because we're not normally doing close-up photos of watches and so forth. So make sure to check out all these photos that we've done. Real quickly, when you're looking for one of these watches, a lot of times they do not have what they refer to as boxes or paperwork. Paperwork would be the warranty card that actually tells the year, when it was sold, who it was sold by. It's this here, so this does have papers. When you talk about boxes, we're talking about the outer box here, we're talking about the sleeve, we're talking about all the warranty paperwork, we're talking about the cloth, the plastic, the hologram, we're talking about basically the case and everything else. This watch not only is new and unworn, but it has all of its documentation like we look for in classic cars. Now, with classic car collecting, I like to have all of my cars certified by the experts if we're dealing with a factory correct car. So I came up with an idea that I have never seen somebody do before. In all the years I've been looking at watches, I've never actually seen somebody do what I did, and I contacted my local Rolex dealer. I'd like to give them a shout out here, Providence Diamond. Dan Prisker, who's become a friend of mine, he's the owner. He was kind enough to actually look at this watch in detail, and he was kind enough to, again, sign this, notarize it, and everything. And what he was doing was, he was just basically stating, matter of fact, what I'm going to do is just read this here. I, Dan Prisker, owner of Providence Diamond Company, an official Rolex jeweler, has personally viewed and inspected one Rolex Green Submariner, model 116610V. He gives me the serial number, which I don't want to make public for obvious reasons. This watch was inspected under 10 times magnification. This watch is indeed unworn. The Rolex factory green card is also genuine because people, just like they do with classic cars, they make fake cards, okay? I'm gonna get into something here before we conclude the video. And he also said it matches the serial number of the watch. Again, it's in our photo gallery. You can see this here. He made a special note at the bottom. Finding one of this age unworn is rare. And again, we dated it, 2022, notarized it, signed it, etc. So, really cool. Now let me tell you a little bit about what goes on in this industry. Besides finding one, which I just mentioned, and how popular they are worldwide, there is a lot of shady stuff that goes on. So as an example, I'm not going to mention any companies. It's not my style to mention names and so forth. I'm just not that guy. But what I will tell you is I've had such poor experiences buying watches because it's a very shady business. So people obviously are selling fake watches. They're selling watches that they've taken pieces off other watches and so forth. So that's number one. Number two, they make reproduction boxes. You have boxes that are not real. You have warranty paperwork that's not real. And once again, they make fake serial cards. So all of this has been verified as authentic. The next thing is, I will seriously go on to, say, eBay as an example, and we'll see a watch that's on there. And that watch is the same watch that's been on there for the last year. And when you call, which I've done, I've actually picked 3 or 4 that over the last year or so, You call on them, and what they do is they do the bait and switch. They want to get your name, they want to get your number, they want to know what you're calling from, they want to call you back, tell you if it's available or not, and then they tell you it's not, and then they try to switch you to a used one. And I clearly said I'm looking for a new unworn as it was advertised. I think there's 3 or 4 new and unworn watches right now on eBay as an example. But again, when you call and you start to investigate them further, things get tricky. Then what you have to do is you have to hope that these brokers or these dealers that are working out of these offices and so forth that aren't really legitimate dealers, they're more kind of backroom dealers, so to speak. You got to trust in the fact that they're going to do what they say. That's one example. Another example I'll give you really quick here is one of the big websites that advertises watches and stuff all across the world. They had a particular Hulk that I was looking at. It was new, it was unworn, it was a pretty fair price, nothing too crazy. So anything that's really too crazy typically is a scam, but it was on the lower side of what I believe the retail value was. So I proceeded to move forward. This company, again, has a beautiful website, great customer service, all this kind of stuff. I actually did a wire transfer. I paid for the watch in full. They said that they had to send the watch from the seller, have it authenticated like kids do with shoes and stuff like this. They have these companies that kind of play middleman. When they say it's authentic, then they ship it from their location to you as the purchaser. It's a real kind of interesting process. Well, they said it would be done within 21 days. So I followed it. As we got closer to the 21 days, they basically kept telling me that it has not been authenticated yet, and they're waiting and waiting and waiting. Finally, it got to a point where I wanted my money back. Long story short, it took me 45 days to get my money back. I even had to threaten to call the police. It just turned into an absolute nightmare. And this is a company that has thousands of watches for sale, customer service, et cetera, et cetera. So the point of telling you all of that is you, as the person who's looking at this, who might be interested, you don't have to deal with any of that. So at MS Classic Cars, we do things at a very high level. We are very well known and well respected in the classic car community. Do your homework on our company. Take it from me. I've learned. I am not an expert in Rolex watches by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a small collector, but I have a very special watch here for you today, and it is available for sale. All inspections are welcome. You can call me here at the dealership. You can email me. Here's me. Here's the watch. Again, it doesn't get any more real than this. So that concludes this presentation. I really appreciate you watching. Again, if you have any questions, please call, please email, please check us out. If you have interest in following MS Classic Cars closer, please sign up for our VIP email blast. We have thousands of customers that subscribe to that. We are also on all the social media platforms. This particular watch here, we are going to run an eBay auction. We're planning on actually listing that very soon. So please, again, check out our website. You'll get all the details on that, which will link you right over to the auction and so forth. That is going to be the game plan out of the gates. If for some reason it does not sell on the auction, it will be on our website inventory page with a price and so forth. So again, we appreciate your interest. This is a very special piece. Do your homework. It's almost Christmas time. What a perfect guess. Rock and roll.